What's up, guys? It's Prime Royal Wolf here, aka Prime Sinister. I'm playing Momentum on Comeback with my KF5. I go 33-9. But this video is basically going to be a story time. Story time is basically like moments in my life that I can like never forget. One of them is my first day of high school. First day of high school, I literally made a best friend, an enemy, found my crush in the same day. Like, I found out a girl who I've been like. She was at my old school, like 8th grade. She's like mad pretty, yo, but I knew she'll never go for me because I'm like the smart type, the smart gentleman type. She likes the dumb douchebag type. So I was like, you know what? It's just a fantasy. I ain't gonna try to ask her. But other than that, everything was cool. Now the classes was mad easy. The teachers was cool. It was this one teacher that irked my nerves. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm just gonna call her Leech. Now Leech, she was mad annoying at times. Like she blamed me for shit I never did. Like a phone could ring and I'm on the other side of the room from that phone and she'll look dead at me. Like she blamed me for almost everything. She never called my moms though. She knew better than to call my moms. But yeah. And one of my enemies, this dude named Alex. Yo, Alex, me and him had true beef, yo. I never liked Alex. Like, on God, I never liked him. I could tell from when I first met him I wasn't gonna like him, cause we was in class and I'm trying to sit there and chill with my new friends, like my boys, and he tried to bond with us. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we talking about Call of Duty and PlayStation. He's like, yeah, I got PlayStation 3. I'm like, yeah, but we don't. We talk about PlayStation 4. He said, yeah, but I got PlayStation 3. I'm like, okay, that don't really matter to us because we don't, and we trying to talk about something different. He said, you guys suck anyway. I said, well, how about you come and find out? Oh, wait, you don't have one. And then he caught feelings. He caught feelings and he stepped on my shoes. So I had to put the hands on him when the teacher wasn't looking. And he told the teacher. The teacher ain't believe him, though. But I told the teacher. I said, yeah, I hit him. And he said, why? I said, because he stepped on my shoes on purpose. He looked dead ass at my shoes, smiled, and stepped on them. So I put the hands on him, and that's when we became enemies. Now, one of the funniest things ever is he was gassing everybody up in the class, like, oh, Deontay, you're not gonna hit me. You're not gonna hit me. You're not about it. Fight me after school. Okay. So since I had an activity to do after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, this happened on a Thursday. So I'm like, okay, I'm down. And I stay after school waiting to fight him. Like, I'm literally outside. Everybody's waiting for us to fight. Like, I that was a point in time I didn't care who I fought. I just wanted to fight. I look to my left where the carpool is at, like where everybody get picked up. So I see him get into his friend's car and drive off. And I walk away. Everybody's like, hey, where you going? I'm like, he just drove off, yo. He said, you lying. One of my friends came over, was like, nah, bro, I just saw him drive off. He said he had to go to a dentist appointment. I said, we made the schedule, like, I asked you if you had anything to do. You said no. So that's a lie, yo. Next day, he hit me up. I don't know how he got my kick, but he got my kick. He hit me up on kick. He's like, where were you? I'm like, where was I? I was where I said I would be. You were not. He said, oh, yes, I was. You know what? You're not worth my time. I'm like, sir, what you do is you go to school, go back home, complain about your whole school day, and start all over. That's all you do. That's like, and there was a time where my mom picked me up from school. I saw him on his bike. I know where the kid lives. I could have got out the car and laid him out right there. I decided not to. Like, I really could have did that because he was right there in front of my face by himself on his bike. It could have been over. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because then he going to make it seem like I just beat him up for no reason. I'm going to make him hit me. Few months later, we in math because we got like not four classes, 2 classes together. We have research and we have math. Every Friday in research, we go to the computer lab to check our grades, because that's the grade we get. We check other grades. for our other classes. So me and my boys, we sitting there chilling, we cooling and stuff, and he sits there in my seat. Like, we sit there every Friday, we sit in the same seats. He decides to race me to the computer lab, sit in my seat, and when I ask him to move nicely, he stares at me and says no. I'm like, you really need to move though. He said, I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I'm like, but you're gonna have to move though. He's staring me dead in my face and says, I'm not moving. So I move him. And like, it came to a point where it was like all I wanted to do was lay my hands on him. And I had not to do that because one day it was gonna leave a mark and I did not want to get in trouble for it. But he's sitting there, he getting too cocky. He's like, oh well, you're not gonna do anything to me. I'm like, oh really? I'll make sure the teacher ain't looking. I punch him in the stomach like the hardest I could. And I'm gonna give it to him. He ate that, yo. Like, he didn't cry or nothing. His eyes was watering and his face was red, but he ate that, yo. I'm like, yo. He got up out his seat. I'm like, please hit me. Please hit me. Because I've been talking to everybody about this. They's like, yo, don't beat him up because then he gonna go to the teacher saying you bullying him. I'm like, I just want him to hit me, yo. Just give me one swing and it's done. I'm like, oh my God. It's been happening the whole 9th grade school year, yo. And so I'm like, yo. And then I finally got with my crush. He goes around saying I'm cheating on her. This is the craziest thing ever. So my crush's best friend walks up to me, and so is my crush, my ex-girlfriend at that. They walk up to me and she says, heard you were cheating on my girl. I'm like, how could I cheat on her? I'm like, I don't talk to anybody, any other girl but her and you. So she was like, oh well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Like, I know you're cheating on her. I'm like, bro, you know where I go after school? I take my ass home. I don't go anywhere after school, like, at all. I'm like, who told you this? She say Alex. I'm like, what? And you believed him? That's when I deaded her, yo. I'm like, I'm done. You gonna believe him over me? I'm like, wow, I'm done. So it was just crazy. And I was like, yo, I was just upset though. I was really upset. But this has been a story time by your boy Prime Sinister, and I'm gonna be looking. I'm gonna be doing more uploads when BO3 come out. Like, I'm gonna be doing a lot of uploads, like different modes. But yeah, just check out with that. I'm out.